I gotta stop staring at this car. I might want to buy one. This isn't good.
This is not good.
This isn't good.
Welcome back to BMWs of NYC. It's been a while since we've done one of these feature videos. Happy to have Lloyd's E46 M3 here, and also Anthony, one of our Motorrad Client Advisors. He's got a unique history both here as well as within the car enthusiast landscape. So how'd you get sitting in that chair?
Walk through the door. Started life here as a new car tech, fixing all these lovely machines. Somehow got roped into being a motorcycle client advisor, and as well as marketing. But I have my hands in a lot of things, only because, you know, at a building this big and a store as big as we are, and a brand as big as we are, to really kind of progress yourself and be interested in things you want to do, you have to be kind of
A little bit of everything.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
You and I are BMW enthusiasts, so that's what allows me to relate to you on the motorcycle side, and then you to relate to me on the car side.
Right, because that badge floats.
Exactly.
The badge floats, you know. Yeah, there's no other employees here. You know, it's just us. So this is one of those things where we're not doing it for any other reason than
we enjoy it.
Yeah, the enthusiasm that we have for, you know, cars like this and stuff like this. So hopefully you guys like what we've got in store, and we're going to talk a little bit about Lloyd's E46 M3. For sure, one of my favorite BMWs ever made. Only because, I mean, number one, look at the thing.
Mine is purely aesthetics.
Right.
Like, I love the way the CSL looks.
And here's the other thing, you know, that's funny because you say that, you know, it's one of your favorite cars and you want one.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing, you want one. You've never driven the thing.
Exactly.
You know, but
and
that's also...
And I'll still get it, and I know I'll enjoy it.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things that, you know, BMW is good for, and that's why I adore my E39 M5. This car, Lloyd's car, it's definitely bringing me back, and I love the subtle things.
He blacked out the intercooler, so you don't even know from the outside that it's turbo.
Right, and what most other people don't know is if you look in that right-hand fog light, that's where you're gonna find the intake.
Yep.
You know, that's where your air filter is. This car, when it was designed, is from a very different era. You know, right now, it's very easy to attain horsepower. This car was never involved in a horsepower war. But look at it and look at the status that it has. Yeah. And it doesn't have 1 million horsepower. Now this one has a lot of horsepower because, you know, to keep up with nowadays cars, you kind of have to.
One of the first things I did was went to BMW Fest in Jersey. What I liked about going this year is it gave me the opportunity to walk through the show field. Lloyd's car was lined up with a bunch of other E46s, and what actually stood out to me first was his wheels and his brakes, because he's running Rotora brakes, which is a brand that you normally see on Japanese cars. And what I like about what he's done is he's kind of brought that like time attack feel to
you get the
E46, or like the Toge runs, like the initial D, that kind of feel. Everything, it feels like it's got a purpose, but it wouldn't be incredibly uncomfortable even with Manhattan's crappy roads.
Fair, and that's also kind of what I always liked about the E46 M3. But these things were just so easy to drive, and still are. I mean, granted, with however much horsepower this car has.
So when I was pulling it in, you were making fun of the fact that I was having issues with the shifter.
No, I was making fun of something else, but yeah, you were having issues
having
with the
never used it, so he's got, and like, that's a rather long list of...
I think it's an RCD or...
RTD short shift kit.
Short shift. That's not a short shift kit. That is like, that's bolt action. I definitely get the time attack vibe.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that I like about what he's done with this car. It seems like he didn't get so wrapped up in the horsepower wars, in the status wars, and in the look at me, the flashiness. Because
it's like complete. Like
this car is very, very subtle.
Yeah.
You know, it's got an amazing paint job. He's done, you know, great little details to it. Looking at exactly what he did to it, you can tell that he wanted a balance. He wanted a performance car that's not going to get out of hand and still give him the type of driving he likes to do, because you can see that it's got a fire extinguisher in it, it's got a roll bar in it, so he's got a hoop, he's got his race harnesses. You know, you can see that he's running probably a square set of wheels, because I can see the front of the tires from here. You know, but at the same time, he also drove it here from Jersey and parked it in our showroom.
It's not ridiculously low. When you keep saying that it's well done and it's a package and not one thing stands out, it almost makes it harder to talk about everything, and you got to really look at it.
You got to appreciate it as a whole.
The projectors that you said in the headlight, saying M3 in the projector. That is a little detail you got to point out.
The CSL style trunk, which we never got, you know, in the United States when these cars were new. So there's definitely a lot of attention to detail, the folding mirrors and things like that. He definitely updated it to give him, you know, arguably what people look for in new cars. But he picked the car that he wanted to get that from. One
aspect that I like about the entire BMW enthusiast scene, but more so the older guys, is they're not afraid to modify their cars. Like, I was watching a Petrolicious video, and the guy said it's like the car that he was driving, he didn't want to modify it at all. He wanted it to be a time capsule, and there's definitely something to be said for those people that want to keep their cars in perfect condition. But that being said, if you even take it further back, and you have all these old school cars from the 50s and 60s and 70s, those cars still got modified, but there was a way of it all flowed together. One thing didn't stand out. When you take the older cars and you kind of tweak it a little bit, you make it your own, but you're still keeping that same, you're still paying homage to the brand and to what the car is meant to do.
You're not changing the DNA. You know, this car will look just as good sitting right next to a brand new M3. Right next to brand new most cars. You know, this is a nice example.
And we definitely need to have more cars like this, more people that want to keep these cars, take care of them, modify them.
But you don't want certain cars to be forgotten. 20, 30 years from now, who knows where the E46 M3 is going to stack up? You know, will this be one of those cars that's lost in time, which it happens all too often. But when we're talking about the older cars that, you know, may not be around, you know, so often anymore, it's nice to see, you know, someone still going as hard as they can with a car like this.
Thank you guys for watching. Anthony, thank you for joining the team. Lloyd, thank you again for dropping off your car.
Thank you very much for that.
We love it.
That's not an easy thing to do.
No.
You're dropping off your baby. You know?
Exactly. And for those of you that are interested in being featured here,
if you got a cool car, you know, this is after hours stuff. You know, Lewis and I are just car enthusiasts. If you've got something, you know, that maybe people haven't seen, or you would like people to see your take on your car, give us a call. We'd love to have a conversation.
Later, guys.
Peace.